Hey guys, what if you invested $60 every day? Well, that's what the entire purpose of this channel is for. My name is Forrest, I invest in stuff, and I think that you should too. My passion and purpose is to help you fix your relationship with money. So we're gonna dive into an account that I started back in 2024, check up on its progress, and then we're gonna go through a quick little presentation to help you understand the power of compound interest. And by the end of this video, you'll have everything that you need to start investing, or at least get you a little bit closer. So let's go ahead and take a look at my portfolio. I have it here up on the screen as well. Currently at $22,090 or $22,090.89. Okay, I have a little extra buying power in there. So what I've been doing is I've been investing $60 a day. I have an automatic deposit of $300 a week. The reason I have some extra cash in here is because I actually took an options trade, which made like 1,500 bucks. So I'm supposed to not trade in this account, but the trade was too good, and why not make some money? So I have a little extra cash I can actually invest this next week. So on Monday, this will actually be around $1,500. Or I guess I made $1,200. I don't know what I was thinking of. $1,500 on Monday, which is tomorrow. This will be $1,500. I'll have $1,500 to put in for this week. So the important thing here is that most of this growth, most of the value in this account is just from brain off investing. So it is currently September 2025. I started this in August of 2024, originally doing $50 a day, and now I'm up to $60 a day, which is $300 a week, $1,200 a month. Most of this is in VOO, so we'll open up this position. This is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. The current share price of this is $593.76. So that's as of the close. My position in VOO is worth $16,220. And you can see here that just on this position alone, I'm up $1,500. So in the presentation, I'm about to walk you through all of that math, all of the millions of dollars that you're about to see that this account is going to be worth in a few years is based off of VOO. So if you're brand new and you don't know what to invest in or where to start, really all of this is around investing in the S&P 500. That's what this channel is about. That's why I do this. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. So it doesn't have to be a $60 daily investment. I'm doing $60 because why not? I'll change it, but pick a number that'll work for you. Okay. So the reality check: daily portfolio swings create noise, not a signal. Your Robinhood app shows wild daily moves that mean nothing for long-term wealth. Okay. A rule-based habit beats emotional reactions every single time. Okay, there's a quote here: we can't control today's ticks, but we can control our deposits, which is entirely true. There are so many things that we can't control, and often in life and in personal finance, we're so worried about things that we can't change otherwise anyways. And instead, what we need to think about is what are the actions that we're taking that are within our control. If you're not checking all of your own boxes, you can't be so worried about others, right? And it's exactly the same here. So ignore the ups and the downs and just make sure that you're getting in and you're using the power of time. And it'll become very clear why using time is so important as we walk through this. So here's some simple math. So $60 a day is $420 weekly. So this math is assuming every single day instead of just doing the 5 days per week. It's the same. I'm doing $300 weekly, not $420, which comes out to $1,200 monthly, but we'll use this math here. So $420 a week, that's $1,800 monthly, $21,900 annually. So over 45 years, this gives you, essentially, I'm assuming that this is for a 20-year-old. Obviously, if you're not 20 or older, subtract some value. It's not going to matter. Okay, the numbers will be lower, but it's better to do something than to do nothing. Okay, now the historical return that you can expect is going to be 6 to 10%. I usually use 8%. I use 7 to 8% when I plug in calculators. If you check out some of my other videos, those are the numbers that I use. This is a good range. Either is fine. The important thing is that you're going to make money over time. Okay. Now, the reason this is so sexy, the reason this is so powerful is because of compound interest. This is your money's superpower. It's actually your superpower. Compound interest means earning interest on your interest. The longer you give money to compound, the more the growth curve goes vertical. Okay, there's 3 levers that control your outcome: the contribution size, the rate of return, and time. Time is your most powerful ally. I'm going to read that again. Time is your most powerful ally. It does not matter how much money you start with. Okay, what matters more so is that you start right now. Even if you're 55 and you're watching this video, and you're a little demoralized. You're like, man, he's talking about 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds. Well, you're still going to be alive for quite a bit longer. Okay. So use that time. The time's going to pass regardless. Just put it to use, guys. So here's the math for you. Okay. Here's how you can do it. For those of you who are a little math savvy, you don't need to do this. Use ChatGPT, use some of the tools. There's nothing wrong with understanding this equation, though. It can be useful in understanding why time is so powerful. But, P is your $60 daily deposit. R is your annual return rate, right? That's the 6 to 10%. And then Y is the number of years invested. If you're bad at math, I want you to explain why Y is so important here. Y, you can see here, is 365 times Y. Okay, so this is the exponent, right, to this thing that's being added here. Okay, and if you're bad at math, this is the most important part of this equation. Okay, it is a thing that is heavily changing the value of this, right? In addition to P, but we'll move past that slide. So what does your $60 become in 45 years? So in 45 years, you would have contributed $985,500. That's a lot, but what is it actually worth? Okay, at 8% returns, you'll make 9.74 million from under 1 million contributed. So you almost 10x your money, right? And if you put in a smaller amount than that, say you only put in $100,000, well, then you'll have $1 million. Let's say you put in $1, then you'd have $10. You get the point. It's still worth doing, even if you're not doing this exact amount. So let's walk through the journey here. Okay, so here's how $60 daily grows at 8% returns decade by decade. So in year 5, you're at $134,000, $134,619. You'll have contributed $109,000. So your money will grow by $25,000. It's not a crazy amount. It's still pretty good. We can see in my account, for example, that I'm up like $1,500 just on that one S&P 500 position. And that's just over a year since I started doing this challenge on YouTube. By year 15, 635,000. We're over the $500,000 mark. Okay, momentum is building as compound interest accelerates. By year 25, 1.74 million. Okay, crossing the millionaire threshold with room to spare. Year 35, you're at 4.2, and at year 45, you're at that $9.7 million. Now, what's key here isn't necessarily the values themselves; it's the story. Okay, just like any story, whether you're watching Toy Story or any other story, right? We want to figure out where we can identify for ourselves how we could relate to that story. Okay, so it doesn't have to be $60 a day. Okay, it doesn't have to be these numbers. This is just what I'm doing for my challenge. And I want you to start your own challenge and hopefully create this picture for yourself. So who's doing the heavy lifting? So this is, it's supposed to be 980,000. So 980,000 contributed over this 45 years. Okay, it grows by 8.8 million. That's a 90% of the position is growth. Okay, so the math is clear. Compounding does most of the work. This goes back to what I said earlier, where it doesn't really matter how much you start with. Okay, what matters is that you're in. Okay, somebody who has $1 million in savings today will get absolutely smoked by you just doing $60 a day. Really think about that. Somebody with $3 million today would still get absolutely smoked by you. If they're not consistently contributing into the market, right, and adding more growth, you will pass that person up because your money is working for longer and you're growing and growing it. So here's the cost of waiting. Okay, the full runway for compound growth, 9.7 million. If you wait for 10 years, that goes down to 4.2 million. Okay, same daily habit, but less time. So time is the most important factor. Okay, the cost of waiting 10 years is $5.5 million. You end up with 2.3x less money. The time is irreplaceable. Every year matters exponentially. Again, that Y being in the exponent. Every year matters exponentially. It really, really matters. What we're essentially looking at is a growth curve like this, and you need time for it to ramp up. So the less time you have, you can't get to that side of the curve where it starts to go vertical, but it will go vertical no matter what. So here's what you're going to do. After you watch this video, first and foremost, you're going to subscribe to my channel and you're going to stay tuned. And I'm going to say thank you. I have a huge amount of gratitude for all of you who are tuning in. You're going to automate everything. So set up $60 or whatever it works for you, daily, monthly, weekly, or batch, your transfers. What's key here is that anytime you get paid, you need to pay yourself first. So you need to automate that so that it's not a decision you have to make. Make the decision once and automate it afterwards. Even if it's $5, every time you get paid, you take $5, you put it into a savings or an investment account and put that money to work. You're going to keep your costs microscopic. Use broad, low-cost index funds or ETFs. High fees are wealth killers over decades. So all that means is I've shown you exactly what to do. Go into VOO. There are other ETFs that are very, very similar. The fees on VOO are nearly zero. They're not zero, but they're low enough to where it doesn't matter. Trust me on this. Just go into VOO. Okay. You're going to maximize your tax advantage accounts. So your 401k, your IRA, and your Roth IRA limits first. Overflow goes to your regular brokerage accounts. If that seems like a lot to juggle, don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong with having a lot of money unoptimized. So you can have a lot of money in your 401k, and some people stress, oh, maybe I need this. And like, look, okay, if you have $500,000, you got a good problem. We can solve that. Have that problem first. Some problems are better than others. It's better to have a lot of unoptimized money than to have no money. Lastly, you're going to build a safety net. So maintain an emergency fund so market downturns don't force panic selling. The fourth point probably should be step 0. It doesn't really matter, okay? You should have an emergency fund that is not necessarily in the markets. Let's say you have a couple $1 million and it's all in the markets, you're not necessarily going to sweat an emergency. You know what I'm saying? So all money gives you options, right? Obviously, if it's more liquid or just in a savings account, that's better because then you don't have to sell it and deal with taxes on the gains and blah, 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 blah. But again, that is way different than having no money. Imagine I have $0 in my bank account, my checking account, but I've got $4 million in the market. You think I'm sweating real life problems? No. Is that the best way to do it? No. But I'm completely separate reality than somebody who has actually no money anywhere at all. Does that make sense? Cool. Glad it does. So I want all of you to think about your relationship with money. Why aren't you doing these things today? As I went through this presentation, were you thinking of excuses? Were you coming up with reasons? Well, force my parents. Well, force I. Well, force they, them, this, that, or the other. Look, I get it. Life is hard, okay? Don't make it harder. Write down all the things that you could be doing for you and try to check those off. It really is that simple. And keep the list really short as well. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. If you're working, that means you're getting paid. So you don't have to stop going to Starbucks, but drink 1 less coffee. Drink 2 less coffees. Okay, I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, you got to cut out all fun. I don't think humans can survive without, entertainment and creativity and things like that. I think that's a really stupid way to think about it. But you can cut back. Okay, you can buy 1 less case of Oreos. I'm a cookie demon. 1 less case of Oreos, 1 less coffee, 1 less night out a month, 1 less of something, and use that to pay yourself. And you're going to start stacking those wins to where now you're going to get addicted to the good behavior instead of all the bad behaviors. And that's going to give you the confidence to believe in yourself so that when people ask you like, hey, why aren't you doing this? You go, you know what? Instead of having reasons for why not, you're going to start coming up with solutions for how you can. My name is Forrest. I invest stuff. I think that you can too. And in fact, I believe that you will. See you in the next video. Peace.